Hey guys, my name's Chris, and this is Team Financial Fitness. We want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I hope you're having a wonderful morning and you're getting everything ready. Open presents or whatever y'all do. Our Christmas mornings are answering questions on YouTube. No, but this is really important, and I want to keep this going because I'm going to help some people. We are going to help some people with this lupus stuff because it's real. This question came from Joanna. She said, "Thank you for posting your wife's experience. I have recently done a bunch of tests to figure out my cause of pain. My situation sounds similar to your wife's, but not as extreme." When I read the question and she said that, I thought, that's exactly how yours started. It wasn't quite that bad. She just felt a little bit off. There was, something not right. What is it?
Well, I explained to the doctor one time, I said, it's like being a runner. If you're a runner, I'm a runner, and you start running and you kind of hit that wall and you push through it and you get the best run of your life. It got to the point where I could not push through the lupus symptoms. It would literally put me in the bed. I would run fever. I would pour sweat. It got to the point I was even started losing weight. It just gradually got worse and worse.
She had her blood pressure, her bottom number on her blood pressure was elevated all the time. That means your body's fighting. It's hurting.
It's inflammation. And they also told me that it got to the point where they were going to put me on meds because they said if it gets too high, you're at risk for stroke.
You had fever for a year.
That was the most important thing the doctor told me when we started figuring this stuff out was keep a record of everything you eat, your blood pressure every day, even several times a day. Take your temperature. That's when we realized I ran a low-grade fever for at least a year. And so when you have that and your body is fighting itself, it got to the point where they were even going to talk to me about transplant meds because it was starting to affect my kidney and liver. And that's not something you want to play with. That's something you want to address.
Heart tissue. There's no telling what it'll affect. And it happens. It's kind of an accumulative thing. It's weird because I'm about to get to the rest of the question. I feel better when I don't eat, and I hurt as soon as I eat anything processed. This sounds so familiar. All of the processed foods are slowly killing us. How long did it take your wife to feel better after she started eating better? And I'm going to let her answer this.
Well, this is a lot. He and I both, though. When we finally realized, based on the notes that I was keeping, he was looking at them one day and he said, "Stacy, it's your food." So when we went down that rabbit hole of food, I went to ground zero. I didn't play around because at that point I was desperate for help and I did not want to take the meds. I'd just been through rounds of prednisone and I knew that what it was doing to my body. So I went to literally baked chicken and baked carrots. And that's where I started. And that's when I started incorporating food. So it took about 3 months once I probably went to baked chicken and baked carrots.
It's tough, too, because your mind and your body is going to play tricks on you, and it's going to say, you can have these foods. You've been eating them your whole life, because that's just it. People don't make these choices. They don't make adjustments to their diet because it's the same food they've been eating forever. It couldn't be that. It couldn't be those processed carbs I'm addicted to, Now, a lot of them don't think they're addicted to it. They think it's just food. Well, food is whole ingredient foods. When you cook a potato, you need to be eating a potato, not... Does that make sense?
And it makes perfect sense. Like, I can't have Chick-fil-A, and let me just tell you, I miss it.
Yeah, she
I even tried to have it the other day because my body's been doing so good. I've been in a really good place. I haven't been on meds. This month will be 5 years, I believe. This month, I took my last round. Well, awesome. I went through the drive-thru and ate it in the parking lot, and I barely made it home. And I was pouring sweat, had fever, threw up. I just can't have it. So I've made that choice not to eat these foods.
I think I've narrowed it down to Chick-fil-A is the oils, the seed oils that they use to fry the food in. I'm pretty sure it's rancid. There's a certain way they fry it. Some people fry in different oils in different ways, and she can have, I think Cane's chicken you can have.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Not all these are small portions.
Right.
If she goes and eats a bunch of any kind of fried food, it works. It doesn't work out good.
It doesn't seem to. It's a choice I make, and I'm telling you guys, keep a notebook. That was my biggest, like, that guy, I even had one doctor tell me, he said, "Well, you're just getting old." He said, "That's your problem."
Or you had smoker's lungs.
Yeah, I had smoker's lungs. I'm like, I got in the car and cried. I'm like, seriously? But just keep a notebook. That was my biggest key, I think, that we figured out, and that way I could weed through it and figure out what triggered it and what didn't trigger it.
And don't think it's the foods that you're already eating aren't doing it, because that's exactly what's probably causing it. And I'm going to give you some, for instance, Tony Satcher seasoning. People in Louisiana love that stuff, and she ate it on everything.
I did.
It was one of, because there's probably a lot of things that you're eating that are accumulating and making you feel bad. And she was eating it on everything. And when we weeded everything back and she would put Tony's on it, she was sick. Just a little bit. Right. She usually had a little bit of Tony's. So we had to take that out. It's the anti-caking agent in Tony's. Another one recently, last week, was flavored coffee. Now, she didn't think she could have coffee. She quit coffee for a long time. And I started learning about it. I started learning about butter coffee, what happens when you drink coffee, and y'all can fight that out in the comments if it's good for you or not. I don't care. I like it. As long as it doesn't make me sick. Well, if you put butter in your coffee, it slows the caffeine down, and it makes the cortisol response slower, because coffee has a cortisol response, and these are little things that add up to bigger things. Well, we have had great success doing this, and all of a sudden she's getting sick drinking the coffee, and I added just a little bit of a flavored coffee. It was a mocha.
It was a mocha. Oh, it's so good.
It tastes really
so
good. But something in the flavored coffee was causing her to flare up, and she feels bad. You can tell she feels bad because she doesn't know what to do with herself.
Yeah, when I get sick, I literally get nauseated. For 2 days in a row, as soon as I would drink coffee, I would get super nauseated, start pouring sweat, have to go throw up again. I was like, all right, what have I done? Because I don't want to live like that. I don't. So you have to go back and say, and he's like, I think it's that coffee. And sure enough, I'm drinking coffee this morning. I'm fine, but I can't have my flavored coffee.
Yeah. So when we find these little things because I know it's going to help somebody. I know, and if you know somebody with any kind of autoimmune disease, share this video with them. I'm telling you, this is going to help somebody. It would have helped us tremendously. Yes. Just know that you're going to have to get your food lined out. And when you feel good, eat those foods for a little bit and add one thing. Eat those foods for a little bit, add one thing. And you're going to have to weed through what you can and cannot have. And it's going to be heartbreaking because you can't have some of those things. I'm sorry. Now, if you want to feel bad and eat that stuff anyway, knock your socks off. It's fine. I'm just here to try to help you. Now, speaking of helping people, I'm going to jump off of lupus for a minute. I know there's a lot of people getting pumped up about New Year's resolutions. Some people watching this video are already thinking about it. I know they are. And they're thinking, I'm going to get in shape. New Year's turning over a new leaf. Well, I'm going to start making videos about being in shape and getting in shape and exactly what it takes to do that. And it's not probably what you think. I'm never going to promise you things that aren't true. So I'm going to save that for a different video, but I just want to put that in there. So stay tuned. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you tomorrow.